Good evening, everybody. Welcome into episode 19 of the Fuzed Relativity podcast. Kirk at Buckout Kirk. Shameless Twitter plug. How are you doing tonight?
Well, I'm doing good. And there's a reason behind the Twitter. I just tweeted my 4,000th tweet. So that's like 4,000 jokes. So I was kind of proud of that. Starting in April of last year and pretty much writing them every day. So I was like, that was a lot of jokes. So if you're bored on the crapper, you can scroll through old jokes. Most of it, that 90% of them are completely PG clean. It's more goofy, silly, not a lot of offensive stuff. Like the majority of stuff is just silly fun. So if you're into silly fun, I'd highly recommend me.
That seems like the anti-Twitter model right now. So it might
going
be good
against
for
the grain. Yeah. There's a lot of anger and pissed off people, and that's not that. That's market's been cornered.
Well, John, how are you doing this evening?
Living in a state of a fever dream.
Okay.
I'm sure I was going to say, that threw you off.
Wait, you have disco fever? That's what I heard. You have disco fever, John. I did not see that coming. So you watched the Bee Gees documentary. I understand. It bit you.
So, no, I got the second COVID vaccine yesterday, and
oh, I see. Well
done.
Congratulations. You're not puking like Kirk, so
not yet.
Well, mine, I just got it out, and I was horrible for 40 seconds. So it was almost like it was just a bleh, and then better. But some are lingerers.
Yeah, no, mine. See, I always know when I'm sick because I always get fever dreams, and mine are. I'll just dream the same thing. No matter how many times I wake up or what I do and try and go back to sleep, it's always the same dream.
Right, so you have dream reruns?
Yeah.
What you're saying?
Well, it's not so much rerun. It just, how when if you're dreaming and you're having a great dream and wake up and try and go back to sleep, that dream's gone.
Yes.
Most of the time you don't go straight back to that. When I have a fever, I'll be dreaming something. I wake up, go to the bathroom, try and go back to bed, and it's the exact same dream. It just continues on.
So it's just basically paused.
Yeah.
Okay, and then all right. Well, at least it's not repeating. That's nice of it.
It depends on the dream.
Yeah, most of my dreams, it usually involves something like Godzilla, or I can't remember the specifics of last night's dream, but it wasn't.
So it's like a dinner with Andre situation, like you're at a fancy restaurant with Godzilla, or he's what?
It's just weird.
It's a Sleepless in Seattle, but you and Godzilla. That's what I'm picturing.
Well, that sounds awful, John. I wouldn't want to. I that's the first thing I do when I'm in a dream that's stressing me out. I wake up and I'll stay awake for 5 minutes to make sure that I don't go back into it.
Well, and that's what I try and do. But then I go to sleep, and then I'm woken up with this same dream, a couple hours later.
Have you ever thought of, just, where your head is, you put your feet, and where your feet is, you put your head, if you rotate it, and then maybe your feet will start sweating instead of a dream? I don't know. This is not sleep science. I'm not a sleep doctor by chance, but it's a theory, something to try.
Words to live by from Kirk Buckout. Well, we're on episode 19 here, and I'm pretty excited. We've almost hit number 20. That's we're working on it. And this week, we're going to talk about Jeff Bezos and Richard Branson's feud that has been growing over the last week and putting themselves in space. And should be a pretty interesting topic for at least a little while.
Oh. Can we add an echo to that later? Can we add an echo to that later?
I was going to say, Discord cut you out because it was too loud.
Did I peek out Discord? All right. Screw you, Discord. I'll be as loud as I want it. No. All right, I'll back it off.
Well, for anybody who doesn't know, Blue Origin, which is Jeff Bezos, the head of it, well, former head of Amazon's company, and Richard Branson, billionaire from many different things, but
Virgin, yeah.
yeah, Virgin. He's done a lot of things to make his money, but they both own space companies, and Bezos stepped down as CEO of Amazon to go into space with his rocket company Blue Origin, and that was scheduled for July 20th. Well, Richard Branson, who has Virgin Galactic, they decided to push their flight up so that he could get to space before Bezos did. So it turned into this big, like, pissing match between the two billionaires. And now they're, talking crap and seeing, oh, well, good for you. You're making it to space, but my spaceship is better. It's an interesting,
Well, I heard it's going into the legal system, and it's called "Hey, no cuts, no butts, no coconuts" is the name of the suit.
I like it.
But no, it's nice when billionaires are just screwing with each other. It just seems kind of one-upsmanship. Like if you've made billions of dollars, you probably got an ego, right? I mean, that just kind of makes sense.
Yeah. John, did I miss anything? You got anything to input there?
Other than they're not technically going into they're going into space-ish.
Are they passing the line? You said there was that magic line.
Yes. So when you said that, John, it's actually one of the points I was going to bring up, because that was one of the key sticking points for the battle that they're in right now, because Bezos is actually going past the Kármán line. But
just barely.
Yes, just barely. But Branson is not going past the Kármán line. He is going past I don't remember. They said that he's going above the United States limit for space, but not the internationally accepted limit of space, which is the Kármán line.
That's crap. Doesn't count. So Bezos will be the first billionaire in space.
Yeah, but again, these are both, well, A, they're suborbital. B, in fairness, if you achieve weightlessness, I mean, technically, are you in space?
Well, Bezos, the Blue Origin rocket should experience, they said, a couple minutes of weightlessness.
Well, both of them.
That almost sounds like the vomit comet. Like I heard about when they were making those space movies, like Apollo 13. Like essentially, it seems like it's a rocket, and they just go on a free fall, and then they're weightless for a little bit. So is it like that? I mean, because that doesn't seem like they're in space. It just seems like they figured out a free falling space trick to float.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Is that okay? Boom, bam. All right.
I was gonna bring up the vomit comet, because in essence, it's like, it's not the exact same thing, because the vomit comet, obviously, you're on I think it's a 747, and you have to experience the G's of going up, and then when you start coming down, you get the weightlessness feeling.
You're hiccuping already. That's even talking about it, you're getting hiccupy.
But with see, my thing with this is they're both doing, I mean, it's just space tourism. That's all either one of these is.
There's no mission. There's nothing to be accomplished other than, hey, we're going to be above this space for 20 seconds and then come right back down.
Yeah, they're not getting orbit. They're not anything like that.
Because that was, I mean, NASA and it was space exploration. That was the whole point. Not like you said, space. It just seems like, look what I can do. It just seems like an ultimate. I don't know. What about because I remember billionaires before rockets, it was hot air balloons. Some idiot would try to go a balloon around the world or something and usually crash and stuff. So is this just the next extension of that? They went from balloons to rockets now, but it's just bored billionaires.
Well, yeah. That's a good analogy of it.
See, I like the idea that the billionaires are going up on the rockets themselves when these are fully not, they're not exactly tested to be completely functional as far as I'm assuming they've done plenty of safety checks to make sure that everything's going to go correctly, but it seems like it's risky for a billionaire.
You say, oh, so you're admiring the kind of set of space nuts, is what you're saying.
They got some balls to be the first ones to go up.
There's definitely an explorer aspect to, for sure. You got to give them that. It's tested, but not many times, so there's definitely a risk.
Well, I want to say Blue Origins. I don't think they've had live actual passengers. I think it's all been automated up to this point.
They said that they've used mannequins.
Yeah. Virgin Galactic's.
Really? They just threw in mannequins. Just let's make sure their seatbelt works.
See, but Virgin Galactic's has had people up already because they need a pilot to fly the thing.
Yes.
So the pilot's practiced.
Yeah. So, I mean, they're both relatively tested as far as, that's concerned. But I still think it's not orbit. It's, what's that one dude? Felix Baumgartner. The dude that went up in the Red Bull.
Oh, the space jump?
Yeah. It's essentially that.
So I consider that space. I don't know. That just doesn't. I mean, it seems like you're either in and you're out. If that's what they're going for.
And yeah, I agree. They're going to get to space. They're going to be, higher than any currently available commercial airline can get. But it's not orbit.
Wait, I have a theory. Bezos is going to come back with a full lock of hair, and he's going to get hair plugs of some kind, but he's just going to blame it on space travel. He's like, this is what happens when you go to outer space. It's just, I got lucky. So I think it's just Bezos trying to get hair again. Any theories? Any takers?
Going to try and Fantastic Four it?
Yes. Is that The Rock? I don't know. He's the bald one? The Rock guy. The guy who's like a rock. When he poops, it's gravel. That guy.
Not the actual Rock or the actor named The Rock. No.
No. Skipping Rocks is fun, but skipping all the Rock's movies is much better. I would much more recommend that.
I don't know how important this is to the whole conversation, but apparently one of the sticking points that Amazon had to Virgin Galactic was that Blue Origin's windows are bigger.
Well,
busted.
Bust.
That just seems like such a whiny Yelp review already. I mean, I was traveling in space, but the window was way too small. This is bullcrap. You're in space.
But
enjoy the window.
I kind of feel like the whole thing it brings up some good talking because, I mean, petty argument between Bezos and Branson aside, it's interesting because it does shed light on the fact that we may fairly soon have it wouldn't be suborbital. What would you call that where they're going, John?
Suborbital.
Okay, so they're having suborbital tourism, which means that they're going to sell tickets to random Joe Schmoes who can afford it to go up and see the world from a bird's eye view, top down. Okay, that's the next tourist attraction, right? So it is leading somewhere. It's interesting enough. But on the East Coast, they call them hoagie orbital.
So I just wanted to translate.
That's dumb, Kirk.
Oh, come on, a sandwich joke? Doesn't it make you hungry? It makes you hungry and it makes you laugh. Come on. Anyway, all right. Back to what you were saying.
But if I had to choose, I would probably side with Bezos' rocket right now because it's its own standalone rocket compared to a plane that's attached to another plane that it just seems like it's not as efficient a system.
Do either one of them have killer decals? Let's go there. Let's vote on it that way. I mean, it seems like some sort of flames on the side seem appropriate.
I'm going to guess an Amazon smiley face.
At least plug your company, right? It's a promotional tool.
John, nothing?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, so when we get up there, and we'll know Sunday, so Virgin Galactic's flight is set for tomorrow.
Tomorrow morning.
And I'll be curious to see. I'm sure they'll have some sort of footage of it, which I will be scouring for. It'll be interesting to see where they go, how they go, if it's successful. There's a lot that goes into this, so I'll be curious to see what kind of footage we get. Would I spend $500,000 on a ticket to go see that?
See, and that's the thing. Right now, these are just, I mean, they're essentially proof of concept. They're millionaire, it's like owning a super yacht in the 2020s. It's going to be who's gone to space. Yeah.
Oh. You haven't had an alien pop out of your chest and dance across it. You haven't lived.
My thing is these are all kind of irrelevant points if SpaceX is even remotely close to Starship.
It's going to be my next point because looking at, I guess they are very rapidly building the next, like the next Super Heavy.
Well, and they've already got number 3 on the test pad, and I think Super Heavy 4 is the one that's going to go orbital.
So we're talking about a Super Heavy pad here?
Yeah.
The conversation veered. Okay.
Yes, Kirk, that we were roughly talking about that.
See, and here's the thing with sorry, I had a bit of a distraction here. An Amazon package that said it was supposed to be delivered an hour ago just showed up.
See, he knew we were talking about him. If you're gonna open it up, it's gonna be one of those boxing gloves on a spring, and just bam, right in the t-shirt.
That would be awesome. I would donate money to that cause.
Can we start a business that sends punches in the faces to people? Because that'll be huge.
I think that is. Let's stop talking about that now so that we can speak about it off air and see where we can get that going.
Let's see how we get that legalized. Okay.
So, like you were saying, the tickets for Bezos and Bezos and Branson's respective stuff are going to be high, upwards of 500,000, yada yada yada. That's only because it costs them a lot of money per rocket/plane thing to get into space. I would guess, I'm going to quickly Google here, but I would guess that a cost of one of the new, it's not even a New Glenn, what is it?
18 billion or what? I mean, I don't know. That's way too high. Is that way too high?
18.
Yeah, that's too high.
For one, are we just talking one rocket? But
So
like, it seems like the fuel would be the cost of making it, but on top of all the fuel to burn it and get
fuel's
back, right?
cheap.
Oh,
Well, I say cheap. It's still a couple $100,000, but
It's relatively cheap compared to the
Yeah.
rocket itself.
cheaper
So,
than diesel. Okay.
and this post is, I was going to say listen, it's 4 minutes. Nope, that's not right. This is from last month, but they said that it's a ticket to the International Space Station on Jeff Bezos' New Glenn is going to be $55 million per seat.
Wow. Okay.
Um,
But if you go to Groupon, you can get a deal though.
Well, and once the thing is this is going to lead to, because you can only sell so many $55 million seats before there's not anybody left to go. So
No.
eventually they're going to have to make it cheap for the masses so that everybody can go up and look. Just kind of like getting on a ferry out on the West Coast to where you could go watch whales in the ocean.
But, so
$35, I can handle that.
my point being was $55 million could theoretically buy like anywhere from 5 to 10 SpaceX rockets. And that's where SpaceX is going to completely dominate, is that
They're going to use the money to buy more rockets to get
Well-
to be the big fleet and sort of they're going to
But
become like the
SpaceX
Xerox, the one you think of when you think of space travel.
SpaceX's mission is a whole lot different, though. They're not trying to do space tourism. They're
Yeah,
trying
they
to
are.
go to Mars.
well, but space tourism is going to be and that's the thing is going to Mars and setting up a colony on Mars is their ultimate goal. Yes. But they're not going to be able to finance that on their own without.
So the tourism is going to drive it, and it's just going to that'll be the tax on rich people because only rich people will be able to afford it anyway. So rich people will help fund space exploration instead of when we used to have NASA. That's interesting.
That's what Starlink is. Starlink is a way to further subsidize Mars
Wait,
missions.
Starlink, that's the one with Ed McMahon where they voted on you? What's Starlink? I don't know what Starlink is.
Starlink is satellite internet that Elon has been working on that's supposed to help people in rural areas get relatively sustained
Like
internet.
the broadband or something, like the
Well,
better internet.
It's way better than anything almost currently on the market.
Because that's what they say. A lot of it, the lack of technology is people. That's how people apply for jobs, or that's how they learn stuff. So yeah, that would be a big help.
The problem is it's expensive.
No, it's not.
It's theoretically expensive because they're talking about $99 a month for a subscription. For internet, that's a little bit spendy.
Well,
and it's not as they haven't tested its reliability, and people in big cities won't be able to utilize it correctly if there's a lot of people subscribed.
Well, yes, you are correct, but the counterpoint to that is you think $99 for internet is expensive, but you live in Denver, and I'm guessing you actually have at least a few choices for internet service, correct?
We'll say 2 to 3.
So, like, I already pay $100, and I'm not getting anywhere close to what SpaceX would offer for $100. I mean, you remember my whole ordeal with having to go in and buy a new route or modem just because I wanted to upgrade, so I wasn't doing 2 megabytes upload speed.
Right.
So, yes, on the outside it looks like, oh, $100, that's expensive. But if you go to any rural area, $100 a month is only going to get you a couple megabytes download speed because there just isn't the infrastructure there to do internet.
Well, I don't disagree, but what I'm focusing on is the fact that the cost of the system, I read a story on it the other day, that the cost of the system is over what they're going to make from the subscription of the system. So they're spending more money to make the internet than they are getting to fund the internet.
Well,
I
I
mean,
mean, that's how.
it's sort of humanitarian also. Like we're talking about just corporations being kind of don't be bastards. I mean, this is a chance for not being bastards. It's like back in Texas before they had electricity. There's a lot of farms and I mean, there was no washing machine, so you had to do the hand crank, and then you had to go to a well, and just you couldn't store cold food. You had to like pickle stuff. So just introducing electricity helped these people's lives so much. And I think today, I think a Wi-Fi is a version of that because it's almost become a necessary for people to learn, people to get jobs. It's such a it's to not do it is like the same thing of people not having electricity nowadays.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and you could look at it from a humanitarian aspect, but mostly what they've focused on is the fact that nobody's willing to invest in it because it's not making any money.
Yet. The problem is they've just started. I mean, they're still technically in beta phase.
Well,
and because right now their stuff is supposedly geolocked. So if you order it and you want to set it up at your house, you can set it up at your house, but you shouldn't take it elsewhere. The real benefit to Starlink is that if you wanted to attach it to the top of your RV, you could have high-speed internet pretty much anywhere in the US.
So you'd need like a satellite dish equivalence. So I mean, that's what I'm picturing.
Well, that's what it is.
Did you see the video of the car, the Tesla that got pulled over because they had the Starlink satellite attached to the hood?
Missed that.
I can't remember it. I don't remember where it was, but they pulled over a Tesla driving down the road, and they pulled him over because he had the satellite dish bolted to the hood of his car. And of course, it's totally illegal because he's blocking his windshield. But it was funny to see because he was probably like watching Netflix while he's driving down the road.
So he's blocking the view of his self-driving car. That's why he basically.
Kind of.
But it was funny because yes, it is a big satellite. Well, I mean, it's not a big satellite dish, but it was big enough to where it reminded me of an old satellite dish that you would see on someone's house for TV.
Well, and yeah, that's essentially what it is. But I mean, that's the ultimate end goal of Starlink is, you can have, and right now it's early technology. Like, I'm assuming that as more satellites go up, the receiver can get at least a little bit smaller or a little bit more portable. And the ability to bring, high-speed internet with you if you decide to go. And I know it's kind of well, why would you bring, camping's supposed to be going out and yada, 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 but you could take it with you camping or, into the mountains, stuff like that.
I guess you could, but the old curmudgeon man says, don't do that. I'm Chris, back me up. I mean, GPS maybe to not get lost and not to die. Okay, but
I can't back you up on that because I actually enjoy internet while I'm out camping.
Really? You can't even, to me, like nature's what you can step away from it and just get okay.
But every once in a while, it's nice to be able to throw a movie on. Like when I hunt every year, by about the third day, I'm just like, all right, let's get some movies. Granted, we bring a DVD player and can do it that way, but the ability to just throw on some Netflix while I'm up, exhausted, and just want to go to sleep. But hey, a movie would be nice. Let's watch that.
Well,
okay.
And internet, I mean, the pros and cons of it are debatable, but internet has become an essential, just essential in our lives anymore.
Well, yeah, it's ridiculous. Even spiders have their own website. It's called www.website.com. That's how far it's gone.
No, we kind of got sidetracked on this on the Starlink talk, but it's a good, we might save a little bit for another episode. Uh, but I think if I had to choose between, let's say, SpaceX, Blue Origin, and Virgin Galactic, I'm gonna ride a Dragon. That's my choice because I know those things are solid.
Well, yes, but they're also, I mean, and that's the other thing is if they started tourism with dragons, that's probably SpaceX's easiest way because dragons are flight proven right now.
Okay, so that's the name of one of the ships. It's not a fire-breathing thing.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, Dragon
Okay.
is the manned SpaceX capsule that rides on the Falcon 9.
Yes.
Okay, so it's one that sort of like, you power up and like you almost get slingshotted, like the rocket.
Well, it's just the capsule that rides on the rocket. Just like the space shuttle rode on the rockets.
What about like a motorcycle sidecar? Is that a fair equivalency?
I mean, kind of.
Is it? I mean, is it in the ballpark?
It's the rocket is used to get the capsule to space. So the rocket detaches and falls back down. That's what lands.
Okay, yeah.
The video we looked at of the rocket landing on the pad by itself?
Right. Came down backwards and
And John, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's my, I'm just trying to throw out layman terms here.
Yeah, you're right.
And so the rocket boosts the capsule, which is the Dragon, up to space. Well, as far as
I don't know if you're throwing out layman terms, but you're sure lame. All right, gotta boom, rim shot. Okay.
Hey, you haven't picked on me all show. That was we got in a little further than normal.
I think I forgot to say you smelled bad last episode, and you said about yourself. But yeah, I was trying to make up for a lack of smell jokes.
So anyway, the rocket pushes the Dragon capsule up, and then once it detaches, the Dragon capsule goes on its merry way, like to the ISS, which is how they get the astronauts from the ground here to the International Space Station.
Yep.
So I'm riding a Dragon, especially, I mean, how'd you get to space? In a Dragon.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm sure if you're a space nerd, you're also a sci-fi dragon nerd, so it's a double whammy.
Well, I mean, if you look at, and I could be wrong, I don't think I am, but the Falcon is named after the Millennium Falcon. So
all the Star Wars nerds are waiting. They're gonna.
Yeah.
If it's not that one, I'm not going.
Well, because what is the Blue Origin? What's the name of his that he's going up on?
New Glenn. Well, that's New Glenn is the orbital rocket. I can't remember what they're calling their suborbital one.
New Glenn is one of the names. That's the worst name. That's not cool at all. Glenn. I mean, Glenn's a nice guy, but I don't know if it's still new. It doesn't. Falcon,
or is it? So New Shepard is the one that they're.
New Shepard. That's correct.
And then New Glenn is the orbital one.
Is it gonna have a stick and there's gonna be sheep? What are they doing? He's a shepherd. They're running out of name ideas already.
Well,
that's a bad sign. It's still early on. Pace yourself, guys. You should still be coming up with good ones.
So
four in.
It's
Shepherd.
it's better than Virgin Galactic's. Theirs is called Spaceship 2.
This time it's personal. And the sequel is always worse. The sequel never lives up. Next one's Spaceship in 3D. Ooh, all right.
I mean, in fairness, Starship is a little plain and self-explanatory, but
the marketing guys really didn't think a lot. They didn't knock themselves out.
I mean, he wanted to call it the what was it? Was it the BFG? No, not BFG.
That would have been great. The Big Friendly Giant with whiz poppers. He could have farted his way to space.
Was it the BFR?
Yeah.
I think BFR. It was BFR for Big Fucking Rocket.
Yep.
Oh, there you go.
Yep.
See, that would have worked. That would have been funny.
See, that would have got me because I would have been like, you know what? I like you. You're
So
straight
what
to
is
the point.
yeah,
What is
what is
that?
that? That's a big fucking rocket.
Well, I mean, it's not like I brought this up before, but he's not exactly subtle with his naming strategies. Like
And
the
he seems like a fun billionaire. He doesn't seem like a douchey one. I don't know. I mean, he's got a bit of personality. I don't know. Bezos is like it looks like he's like a cancer patient. And by the way, Lex Luthor and the Superman, Gene Hackman, he had hair. So it was like 2 episodes ago, but I said Lex Luthor but bald, and you said Lex Luthor is bald, not Gene Hackman. All right. Anyway, the Superman reference.
Okay, out of all the Superman Lex Luthors, you picked the one that wasn't completely bald. Okay.
I haven't seen any of the new ones. I stopped, so I haven't caught up on my, I don't know, new Lord of the Rings and Harry Potters, and I kind of tapped out. I tapped out after the Star Wars after the Jar Jar Binks one. I'm like, all right, I'm not seeing any. That's enough.
I mean,
well, bad example because everybody hated that movie.
It was so bad. It was like, and it was so long. It was like 2.5 hours of bad. You know what I mean? We're like, at least keep it tight. God.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, if you're gonna have an epic, make it good. Don't make a bad epic.
I saw one of them. It was maybe the third of the new ones. I don't even remember.
Some of the new ones are good. I don't like Abrams.
Well,
I don't remember which one it was. It was one, and the reason I don't remember is because I fell asleep like 5 minutes in, and I woke up at the end and like he's in a volcano and he jumps off the thing and the guy cuts his arm off and then he wakes up as Darth Vader or some stupid like that. I don't know.
Well, yeah, that's
okay.
Well, what is that one? It's episode 3.
Yeah, I think it was episode 3, and it was a great nap. I mean,
money well spent. Yeah, just, yes. Well, honestly, some of the new luxury theaters, like where the chairs are so comfy and they can recline, and some of them serve beer now. It's like, who's gonna make it through 2 hours of doing that in cold, nice, cool air conditioner? It's gonna just pass out. That's the new movie trick, because every time you go, you never actually see the movie, so you keep coming back, but you fall asleep every time. So you see the movie 5 times to piece it together. All right, I'm only falling asleep during this part now.
I've spent $40 to see this stupid movie. Let's get it over with.
There's got to be a way just to stream this, or just I could wait to video, or what? I need to talk to a young person. They'll know how to figure it out.
We've talked quite longer than I thought we were going to talk about this, because I think it's a good topic, right? We got this huge, like arms race back in the, Cold War area. Now we're talking about a space race, and you got private companies trying to go into space, and they're all competing against each other, except for Musk, who's just doing his own thing. Well, and it's compelling, I think. It's a stepping stone. It's
something to root for. It's something to, hey, nobody wants anybody to explode or to, hey, I want it to work. You know what I mean? I think that's a unifying human thing. Like, well done, humans. You did that.
And here is what I find is funniest of all. So Virgin Galactic and Blue Origin are both older than SpaceX.
But by how much?
Virgin Galactic was founded in 2004.
Oh. Wow.
And Blue Origin was founded, I want to say they were 2000. They were founded in 2000. And then you look at SpaceX, which was founded in, I want to say 2008? No, 2002. Okay, so technically Virgin Galactic is newer than SpaceX.
They sound like they're roughly started around the same time, like not too far off.
But if you look at the accomplishments, SpaceX is decades ahead of both of them. Because I know Blue Origin saying, "Oh, we're going to have our new Glenn getting ready to go soon." They haven't even built it yet. Like SpaceX is almost done with Starship. Like they're at the point of testing Starship where they're almost.
I think the main difference is that Musk is actually an engineer.
No, he's not.
whereas the other-
I found that out.
Well, he's a damn good problem solver. I mean, it just seems like he's a little more involved in it rather than, like Bezos was a front guy, a money man.
Well, and they also
Branson was a-
they also took old style space approaches instead of rapid rapid.
Oh, it's totally my way of doing things. Like, we got something to do, let's just do it. I don't want to talk about it for 5 years. Let's just do it. Let's go.
And that's the thing with SpaceX is their whole development phase, like the fact that they've launched so many starships and are crashing so many starships just this year alone to get to the point where they have one that didn't crash is a testament to their rapid iteration and design. They don't necessarily care so much about failure as much as they want to make sure what they're doing is going to work.
As long as you learn from the failures, that's all you got. You know what I mean? Like, okay, that didn't work. Boom. Okay, so now the next one should go better. That seems to has to be the attitude. So we're going to blow some rockets up. Yes.
Which, going back to a couple episodes ago when you were talking about your education thing and like, oh, we should hold these kids' hands. No, let them fail a few times. That's how you learn. And that's what they're taking in is saying, all right, well, that didn't work. Yeah, it cost us a little bit of money, but you know what? We're going to fix it, and this one's going to be better.
Well, and even then, if you look at the price, like, I would assume the new Glenn and new Shepards are tens of millions of dollars just to build one. Whereas you have SpaceX and the Starship, and they're building them in a field at a rate of like, I mean, he wants to get up to building a Starship a day. And he's already, one of the things that I saw pop up today was he's getting ready to start a second Raptor production facility.
And that's the funny thing is, like, I think Mr. Buckout has said it the best of like, okay, not everything has to be that fast. Okay, you got a rocket going into space. Take your time, at least a couple days.
It shouldn't still be warm. Okay, let's let it cool just a little bit, just to make sure it's not going to fall apart right away. Come on, like it does seem at a certain point, ego. I'm a genius. I can do this. I can, but until there's I don't know. It just seems like if you're too arrogant, I think it's the time's ticking on when it's going to kind of get called on you.
Well,
not to be morbid,
but that's just inherent of space.
It's going to happen.
Yeah, right. It's absolutely going to happen.
Danger.
Like, even if, and that's the shitty part about it all is that if SpaceX successfully gets space tourism up and they have their Starship and it costs $600,000 to launch plus, the million or two or whatever to build, and they can fit 30 people on it, and the cost to go into space is, let's say, $10,000, and they do this over and over and over again, but at some point, one of the rockets just, fails and explodes.
You're on the ocean liner. If you're going to get a leak, there's, it's the same thing. You're just surrounded by it. So just make the mechanics or something just breaks down. It's just a numbers game.
And that's bound to be an iceberg in front of you somewhere.
Well, and that's just it. The problem is that if a Starship ever, pulls or something happens like the shuttle where one of them goes up,
right,
it's going to halt that for a whole lot longer than it would be if a plane crashed or if a boat crashed.
Definitely, research, figure out what the hell happened would be a big priority.
But
optics, but I mean, it's I see what you're saying.
It's just It's going to be a bit, but it's going to get to the point where I hope it's treated like any sort of travel. Because his goal, and I'm trying to remember what his tweet said was, but he wants to get production up to where they have a Mars colony built in 20 years. And I mean, he's not far off. His biggest hurdle is going to be able to get Starship up. And
and contractors get to nail them. That's going to be hard.
See,
that's always the worst part.
And I still think the best option is, especially with Starship, since it has such a large volume, is building a production site in space.
I think it's going to boil down to the fact that getting there successfully, that's the first battle. Once they do that, things probably get a whole lot easier from there. And the only limitation from that point is time. How much time it takes to get to Mars.
See, and that's a point I will always make. We can go to Mars right now. That is not the hard part. Getting someone to Mars is not the issue. It's getting them back.
Getting them back, having the power to come back.
Yep.
Which is, with the Moxie system, with the rover, churning the Martian atmosphere to oxygen, they've kind of proven these things like it's possible, right? They can make this kind of thing happen. It's just having the time and, the ability to get there, figure out how to do this to where they can send someone back.
Well, even then, I still think that it would still be easy for SpaceX, because all SpaceX has to do is send a second rocket fuel with them to Mars. And with how cheap Starships are going to be, it's a non-issue just to send. Even if you had to send 3 Starships filled with fuel, it's still going to be cheaper than building
really good point. Like, why not just send a super tanker Starship up there full of gas like a refuel truck? That makes too much sense.
Like, I mean, with how cheap Starships are going to be and how fast he's hoping to pump them out, sending, a whole fleet of just refueling ships wouldn't even be that hard. Hell, they could refuel on the way.
All the big rig truck drivers could now have new jobs going into space to Mars to plant fuel.
We can't even get fuel truck drivers right now, so getting space fuel truck drivers, that might be tough.
Well, you got to go to space driving truck school, and you have to get that CDL license. There's a lot. You have to get the farmer tan going. It's uncomfortable.
But I mean, that's just my thought. Is there's a lot of ways that this could be done, with technology we currently have, that would make it easy.
No, actually, like, I'm being totally serious when you said that. It just, like, I had one of those light bulbs go off in my head. I'm just like, that statement right there makes me think that this is absolutely possible. A lot easy. Like, it took a lot of the difficulty out of it. Because, send a super tanker up full of fuel. You're not going to take a payload, but who cares? You've got 60 other Starships. So now you wasted one. Too bad, so sad.
And you don't even have to waste it, because
it's for a purpose. It's to get them back. Yeah, there's a reason.
No. The ultimate goal is to set up a colony on Mars, and to set up a colony, you need metal. And Starships are made out of nothing but metal. The biggest thing you're losing is all the Raptors on it.
So they would dismantle it and build other things?
So
or they just use it again?
No. So in this scenario that I'm thinking in my mind, they send up, 4 Starships, one with a bunch of passengers and all the science equipment for a Mars trip, 3 with just fuel. Starship fuels in space, takes off with the other 3 or 2.
Just one with just coloring books, but it's a long trip. Okay.
And then one of them, the one that refueled all the ships in space, comes back down. So then you have 3 starships going to Mars. Once you get to Mars, you refuel to make sure you're going to land and all that stuff. You go down, land, have all the science, all the stuff, everything, take back off, and you probably don't need 2, but the starship refuels in orbit over Mars, takes back off to Earth. The one that it refueled on would have enough fuel to land itself at the landing site so that it can be disassembled later on down the line to be used in the colony. And then once the starship gets back into Earth's orbit, you meet it up with another starship to refuel it, or whatever you need to do to make sure that it can get back to Earth safely, and you have a complete mission where one starship is left on Mars, but now it has the resources needed for the colony.
Break, make it happen. Done. Go execute the plan, John. You came up with it.
Elon, if you're listening, hire John.
John got it all figured out for you. So yeah, you're good.
But that's what I'm saying is, like, outside of SpaceX, no other company really has that capability. Because if Blue Origin or ULA or any of the other ones tried to, well, not Blue Origin. Blue Origin's on a similar scale as Starship. It's just, a decade out from actually flying.
But they've got the biggest windows, so.
But, like, if you take the Dragon's a tiny little cockpit. It would suck trying to go the 2-3 months to Mars in, the confined space of a bathroom.
Yes, that would be terrible.
Whereas
especially if I was in there.
Whereas with Starship,
goes without saying, yeah, nobody else would go on the same spaceship. Chris would have it, like, people would board and they'd just spent $50 million and they'd smell Chris and they'd get up and leave and go, it's not worth it.
Whereas with Starship, the original concept of Starship was to take 100 people to Mars. They toned it back for, I'm assuming, comfort reasons, but it's still rated at 20 people to Mars. Or 20 people into space.
There's always that one D-bag that no one gets along with, but is always right next to you. And that's going to be a long trip with that guy.
2 months? Yeah, that's a long. Can we talk about anything else other than you being a douchebag? Because I'm tired of that topic. I think we've covered it.
I wasn't talking about me, ass.
Oh, all right. No, neither was I. This is another douchebag. You just assumed.
Uh-huh.
No, that was you doing it.
Well, but unfortunately, John, let's cut that off. Great topic. I enjoyed you. You sparked a lot of interest in my brain, especially with your refueling statement. And we'll have to pick this up on another episode because I think we have probably a whole nother episode's worth of talking about it. But we got Branson. We got Branson tomorrow. We'll see how his flight does, and I'm sure there'll be plenty of footage of it. So, like I said, I'll be scouring to find that.
We'll talk about it next week, and also hopefully next we might have a new song, right? We might have new music.
Oh yeah. We will hopefully. But Kirk, let's save that for just a minute because the reason I cut us off was because I wanted to touch on the Hubble.
Oh right.
Real quick before we get towards the end of our show. John, I don't know if you've heard about it, but apparently NASA has decided to go to the last ditch effort of trying to switch over to the backup hardware.
Which failed. Yeah.
No, they haven't tried it yet. I don't think it's completely failed on them yet. They tried to switch over, but it wasn't the straight up backup hardware. So they have one more backup to try and switch to, but I don't think they're very confident that it's going to work.
Well, yeah, it's probably not going to. And funnily enough, SpaceX already talked about using a Starship as the next Hubble.
As the next Hubble or the next vehicle to fix the Hubble?
No, as a Hubble. They want to put a telescope in a Starship and use it as a deep space.
That's funny.
they're not thinking about fixing the Hubble, right? I mean, it's too old. They're just kind of going to put it out to pasture, and like there's going to be a new Hubble.
Well, the James Webb is going up, but they don't want to lose the Hubble. From everything that I've seen, they're doing everything they possibly can to try and fix it because they don't want to lose it.
Really? Well,
I mean, it's an iconic. It's the first. And here's where it kind of divulges, because from what I understand, the Hubble was actually an Air Force or whatever spy satellite that was given to NASA to use for deep space, or spy telescope. Supposedly, there's a few others up there that are like Hubble, but pointed at us.
Oh,
it still has a DVD VCR combo. That's how old it is.
But yes,
the operating system was actually from the 80s. Like, this is working on like DOS.
Oh, it's like Dig Dug. I'm picturing Dig Dug now, or I don't know, Atari.
Yeah. Well, and that's just it. It is outdated hardware, and yes, it would be a tragedy to lose, and that's kind of where I think I may have mentioned it before, but a lot of, I think, and this is going to be a topic for another day, but the fact that SpaceX already talked about using a Starship as a satellite would dwarf James Webb, because James Webb is, hold on.
I wouldn't think that, I wouldn't deny that at all, because we're talking about NASA versus SpaceX. SpaceX does whatever the hell they want compared to NASA, who has to follow all these guidelines.
I'm guessing SpaceX has a bigger budget. It just seems like they were defunding NASA. They weren't getting a lot of bucks, and that's why they're doing better, just because it seems like Musk has money to throw behind it.
Well, I was trying to figure out how big this, not telescope, but the mirror on James Webb was. So, it's about the size of.
Well, they thought, like, you've gotten your money's worth out of the Hubble. You know what I mean? Like, it seems like it's served its purpose, and you've gotten a lot of information, and it's like I don't know. It's like an old car where it's getting more to repair it than just to let it go and get a new one. I mean, does anyone factor that in?
Like an old car, you grow attached to it. You don't necessarily want to get rid of it until you get in the new one and drive it for a day, and you're like, oh, holy crap, this car's so much nicer. But, well, it's just the initial thought of getting rid of the old car.
Well, and not to mention, it's a scientific instrument. And having more scientific instruments in space is ultimately better for humanity. Because, yes, you can have the James Webb pointed at one part of space, but if you also had the Hubble pointed at a different, you're getting more information. Plus,
it seems like it's dying anyway, though.
Well, and that's the thing is, I think Hubble is a full-color telescope, and I am completely going off of what I was kind of reading on some of the threads I was looking at, but James Webb is only a partial visible light telescope, whereas the Hubble is a full visual light telescope. So we're not going to get necessarily the same type of pictures out of the James Webb telescope that we would with the Hubble.
But I'm sure Branson's new one will be amazing. Or not Branson's, the new, whatever, the Musk one.
And that was the thought, is if we could send a Starship up with a telescope built inside of it, it would potentially be a...
If you could put, if Musk could put up a Starship telescope and then use his Starlink to have it like a 24/7 monitor, you could log in and watch what it's seeing, that would be awesome.
Well, and this is kind of what the point I was going to push off till another topic, but why not use the Starlinks as the telescopes? Put telescopes on the Starlinks. There's going to be fucking 3,000 of them in the air. Why not have them serving a dual purpose of also taking pictures of the sky?
You could double them up. Hey, you're in space anyway, flying far. You might as well be beaming stuff back to us.
Exactly.
It seems like they could swing that.
Exactly.
I agree. This is a topic that we
All
could
right.
also spend quite a bit of time on.
Well,
So,
let's go to the corner then.
well,
There, we'll cut
real
it off.
quick
How about-
before
oh, we got.
Relativity Space put out a video of their
Ooh,
rocket being 3D printed.
that's cool. I like 3D Relativity Space. They're a cool company.
And I don't remember. It's probably not going to be immediately available. I was looking to see if. So I'm going to put just the first link in. Well, oh, you can keep going. I'm kind of scrubbing through a video here to see if it was the one I saw.
I was gonna say, while you're doing that, I just wanted to touch on the Ingenuity helicopter that, of course, is up on Mars that we like so much.
The Space Whirlybird. What's up with it?
It's the Mars Whirlybird, Kirk.
Mars Whirlybird.
Traffic copter, but it is done its 9th flight. I think I told you they pushed it further, faster, over some undulating dune terrain, and
They Chuck Yeagered it.
yes, and wouldn't you know, it did just fine. It did exactly what it was supposed to do. They flew it longer than they had initially expected that thing to be able to fly, which, as John pointed out, they probably knew it would handle it. They just didn't have that as an expectation. And it is performing very, very well. Life is good for the Ingenuity. And we look forward to keep seeing this thing, see what it can, eventually end up doing up there on that big red planet.
Well done, Mars Whirlybird. You're making us proud. Well done. We'll tear my eye.
Making us proud, earning that keep up there and scouting. And basically, they took pictures over the undulating dunes that never would have been taken because the rover can't traverse that type of terrain without the worry of it maybe rolling over, getting broken. So, we got to see some stuff that we may not have seen otherwise.
It would be funny if the Mars Whirlybird, it had like the personality of like a slacker or like someone who's just, I don't want to do it. No, I'm not. Look, I went to Mars. That's far enough. I'm not going any further. Like, come on, Whirlybird, you're here. Fly.
Which is funny because that would mean the NASA astronaut who made it would actually program that in.
Why would you program for depression? Why? It doesn't need to feel. Damn it, Bob. Why do you always program feelings into the robots? It doesn't work.
Yeah, that would be funny. I would appreciate that.
All right, I'll write that down. Robots with feelings.
John, where'd you get?
I couldn't find it. I'll have to look it up and see if I can find it for next week.
Yes, because I would like to see it. I haven't seen that video, and yeah, it'd be fun to see. But hey, let's jump on over to Kirk's corner and see what he's got this week.
Hold on, before I screw up again. There we go.
Are the corn dogs being sucked up into the alien ship? And still no water, and even a lack of corn dogs. Look at that.
See how long it takes for the alien ship to reject the vegetarian corn dog.
It's gonna fly away, and it's gonna be gassy. And the next one, this is gonna be just farting, just space farts.
Uh-oh, something happened. We lost. What's going on?
What happened? All right, are we good?
Oh,
right.
I think we might have lost Chris, but yeah, I still hear you, Kirk.
Okay. Well, hey, I'll just keep going. Oh, by the way, you didn't. I said I did my 4,000th tweet, and you didn't even ask what it was. Thanks for asking.
I think I saw it.
Well, I will. I can. I want to bounce something off you because I threw it. There was 2 versions. And I wasn't sure which one was better. So the one I posted was breast implants are fake news. And see what I was like they're Or see, I'm not sure if that's funnier or if breast implants are fake new ones. You know what I mean? Because there's the play on words with fake, like they're fake news. Is that too much of a stretch? So I wasn't sure. Like, what do you guys think?
Fake news. I like it.
It's the phrase. It's shorter and compact. It may take them a while to click, but I think that's funny because they're new breasts. They're new ones. They're news.
John, sorry, I have one question for you because you guys actually cut out on my end for a second. Is there a second goose out there now?
I think you're hallucinating. No, I don't see, is there?
Maybe more than one.
Oh, there's 3 geese out there. Oh, crap.
They're multiplying? There's an army of them. They're coming right for us. They're God. It's a home invasion with geese would be the worst because they're so stupid.
Anyway, continue, Kirk.
Okay, yeah. So Kirk's Corner. I was going to talk about one of my other former jobs, and this is where I actually worked for it was called the Arizona Foundation for Legal Services and Education. And you want to ask me what I did?
What'd you do,
Kirk?
I don't know. Okay. In my defense, it was a brother's friend, and they needed to fill it immediately. So I just showed up, and like I would do stuff. People would ask me, and then I would come home, and they're like, "What did you do?" I'm like, "I don't know." It was, and it was the first time I worked in an office building, and I was on the 17th floor, so I got to ride an elevator every day. And I learned what I noticed was next time you're in an elevator, this is 100% true. Nobody stands up in the elevator. Anytime you're in the elevator, they all go in the corner and like lean. Like nobody has the energy to stand up in an elevator. Like you're not laughing now, but the next time you're in the elevator, you will. Trust me. Okay. So that's what I learned at my job. And another, I worked with the girl who was training me. She would wear cleavage shirts all the time with a necklace that would dangle in the cleavage like a fishing lure. You know what I mean? It would be making a noise like, get my cleavage, woo! And I was just like, damn it! Like, how hard are you going to make it for me to listen to you? First of all, we're talking about work, right? Boom! I don't care. It's not interesting. It's a lot of tit there and something shiny. I have to. I'm a man. You know what I mean? Like what are you doing? And it was of Jesus on the cross. Even Jesus was looking. He was like, whoa, look at them. I made those. Thomas is doubting if they're real or not, but they are. Those are real. Somebody get me off this. I want to. All right. Anyway. So, and while I was working there, I was called into the office and I was informed that I had received I had signed a piece of paper telling me I received my first verbal warning. And I was like, I don't think you're using that word right. You know, like I was an English minor, and usually verbal means not paper trail. So you might want to think about that.
What was it for, Kirk?
It was still in litigation, so I can't actually fully disclose, but it had nothing to do with the cleavage shirt lady. No. But no, here's the last part. Like I was working there. And by the way, like I was there for a month, and everybody I worked with like left, and I was like, "Oh, where are you guys going?" And they go, "Oh, we're going to interview somebody for your job." And I was like, "Oh, can I come?" And they wouldn't let me. They wouldn't let me help interview. But like but anyway, they picked me, and it was so funny because like there's an HR lady, and I kept forgetting to bring in the forms, and she was getting mad at me. And by the day I finally filled them out, like the next day, it was when I was fired. So she's like, "God damn it." Like stupid. But anyway, so at one point we get I get an email, and it goes, "Tell us why you're cool." And I was like, "Oh, I was 25-ish, somewhere around there. I was a comic. Like the word cool seemed kind of, does it seem kind of informal to you guys? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so I took it. I was like, oh, let me have some fun with this. And I think this is why, as a comic, like we don't do well in office jobs. It's like putting me like a comic or in a cubicle is like, I don't know. It's just like giving like a seal like a banjo. He's like, I don't I don't know what to do with this. It's not a fit. So anyway, so tell us why you're cool. So I go, all right, I went to college here. I did that and I did that. I go, I'm mildly ticklish. I'm lactose tolerant, not intolerant. I am a member of the Bowlers Hall of Fame, and I was officially recognized by the Organization of Black Mamma Jammas as the black private dick who gets all the chicks. So, like, that's what I email away. And John, you're employed, so you already see this is not, but it made sense. And anyway, I see my buddy Jeff, he was the guy that got me the job, and I was like, hey, what was that email about? And he goes, oh, that was we're organizing a new program to introduce the staff to our new boss. I was like, oh shit. I go, I'm gonna have to. I can write you another one. I made some jokes. He's like, I'm sure you're fine. It's like, I made a reference to Shaft, and he's like, why did you do that? And I'm like, you were the one who hired me. This is on you. But so I have to. But they already sent it to the new boss lady who I've never met, and I had to go knock on her door, ding ding. Hey, my name's Kirk. You don't know me, but I kind of saw the word cool and kind of messed around with it. I can have a serious one before the end of the day. And she's like, yours was my favorite one. I loved yours. And I'm like, what? And she goes, we're going to have to get a bowling league together. I'm like, oh, damn. Like, she thought. So the rest of the time I worked there, I had to pretend I had hurt arms so I couldn't go bowling because this dumbass. First, I'm 25. What are the odds? I've climbed the ranks of the bowling and then just walked away like a gunslinger. Like I had enough. I'm going to have an office job now. Like I didn't want to work for a lady like that who fired me a week later. So it all worked
out. That's an excellent story, Kirk.
And none of it was people. Where'd you get material? I remember sometimes the stuff like that sticks out.
I was captivated. I couldn't wait to see where that one was going.
So that was one of my office jobs. So yay.
Hey. Always fun to see what's going on in Kirk's corner. It's a trip.
It's not for the employed. The employed people, what the hell? Why did he do that? No, you don't do that. None of that you do. But like, I don't know. It's like when I watch Larry David, I'm like, that makes sense to me. I agree with him.
Well, that's why you've had 30 some jobs.
Right. Well, just look at how many people I've convinced to hire me. So I'm good at it.
Well, there you go. See? Positives.
So are we doing the Reddits? Or is it time to
Reddits?
Close out of Kirk's corner?
We haven't.
Not Reddits. What do we call them? It's the
off topic, Kirk.
Off top. Oh, see, I was having a flashback. Sorry. Okay,
we haven't done Reddits. We're like 12 episodes past the Reddits. Jeez.
Look, all right. Well, that was a shout out to the diehard fans from the original show. One guy out there went like, "I feel you."
Thanks, Mom.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's go off topic then, Mister.
Well, so just for me, because I had a few off topics this week, but I have one short one, and I have a picture that I sent to John to pull up because I thought it was a cool representation of our podcast, and I get to show off the little guy. So, John, whenever you're ready.
Oh, that's the wrong one. There we go.
Hey.
He looks at like, what? I'm on this podcast? Oh my goodness! How's my hair? That's what he looks like. And with the Fuzed Relativity shirt too.
Yep. He's saying, "Where's my agent? I didn't book this."
Right. He's always like, "Where's my Fuzed Relativity t-shirt?" That's what he's thinking. I feel underdressed. He's promoting, and I got a stripy shirt.
It's in the works.
A baby. I think black too, because he'll spit up on it, but I don't know. It seems like spit up stains wouldn't show as much on a black shirt. So
no, like they're worse.
Are they really black?
Yeah.
Well, okay. If it's wet, I guess if it's white and milky. Yeah, you gotta. Yeah, I didn't think that.
But hey, I figured I would show off that little guy because he's just past 2 months now and doing good, and he's got his kung fu stance going. So
He looks like he's cocking a punch. He's holding it back. He's getting it ready. It looks like there's a little fist there.
Yeah, he's either got his fist ready to punch or flipping us off. That is his two go-tos.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like any kid.
Yeah. So that's
a ball of rage.
That's baby Benjamin, 2 months old. Good looking little dude. But my off topic this week was there's a 11-year-old, and I think he's Australian or New Zealand, one of those countries over there. Anyway, he's 11 and he just got his degree in physics. And that seems crazy to me. It's like a university degree in physics at 11 years old.
Yeah, that's a bit.
And his goal in life is to make humans immortal. That's his. What he wants to do with his physics degree is make humans immortal.
Well, and I just want to point out it's just another sad example of a college graduate graduating and then having to move back in with his parents. Pathetic.
Yes, that is.
He's not living in his own studio. Like he's living back with mom and dad probably he's 11.
Yes. But that's what I had. Kirk, what do you got this week?
I saw a story. A woman. She was in her 50s. She set a world record for two things: the largest collection of LCD gaming systems with over 15,000 or 1,500, and then the largest collection of playable gaming systems with 2,430. And I was just amazed. And she also had the largest number of jealous nerds because of the number of video games she had and her access to breasts. So that I just can't believe the video game nerds got beat by a girl. That surprised me the most about this story. They just really dropped the ball. She had the largest amount of like marriage proposals because they're like, "Oh my god, if I married her," and Anyway,
do you play Dungeons and Dragons? Oh god.
Just I don't like, and like you're a video game guy. Like just not just could you like the percentage of video game males versus females? Is it wrong of me to think it's like 90-10? Like is it guys versus girls?
It's kind of shifted over the last like decade. I mean, if you go on Twitch, you can actually see. There's quite a few female gamers out there now.
Is it getting more? Okay. How about professional video game stuff? Do they separate males and females? Because it's not like a physical strength test. Like, do they go head to head, or do they still have female males?
I would imagine they're in the same category. I mean, just like on Twitch, you have a mix of male and female. Now, I would be willing to bet that the ratio is still on the male side as far as pure numbers go,
especially competitive.
Probably competitive leans more towards the male side, if It
also depends on the game.
30. Okay.
But no, I think you would be surprised to see how much of a female representation there is in the video game world now. Yeah.
All right. Hey, learn something new.
Yeah. Maybe you should hit the video game world and try and pick up chicks, Kirk.
Hey, baby, you got a lot of coins. I got a lot of quarters. Like, it's all done through video cards, Grandpa. Oh, shut up. Now you want to play Donkey Kong? What? Whatever, old man. It's a bad pickup line. Bad. It's not, hey, you want to go to the video arcade? Like, even if you're 40, if you go to take a girl on a date to a video arcade, your voice is going to break, like the character from The Simpsons at some point.
Well, see, there you go. John, what'd you have? Anything going on for a little off topic this week?
I didn't see anything that popped out this week.
John got his second COVID vaccine. That's his off topic, and he is surviving and made it through the whole podcast, unlike Kirk.
Well done. Yeah, you made it through.
Kirk said his hit him the second day. I'm only about 24 hours out.
Oh,
Right.
Well, then-
and it might have been me just subconsciously trying to avoid listening to you guys, so I just made myself vomit. It's a theory. I'm not saying, I didn't mean to insult. No offense.
Yeah.
But you guys make me
Sure.
want to puke.
well, with that,
That wraps up number 19.
no, we got one last thing I didn't forget, Kirk. Just as a little note, me and Kirk will be hopefully this week we're going to get together and live stream / record some new intro music and exit music for the podcast. Should be a ton of fun. I don't know how it'll be for a live stream. Hopefully we can get that sorted out. But worst case scenario, you can hear some music and see the artistic process that we go through to
There you
try
go.
and make it.
If you're a guitar fan, watch a couple song ideas get put together. There you go.
Yeah. So that's what we got in the works this week. And
Next week with 20, and probably
Episode
talk
number-
about the Branson.
Yes, we will. We will update everybody on what happened, and we'll go from there. But for me, Chris and John and Kirk, we'd like to thank everybody for listening, and hopefully we will catch you next week.
Have a good night.